Please envelop this entity so completely in love that all needs, wants, and desires are chosen.
And greetings.
Greetings, Wonders.
Greetings, Maggie.
Would you please go to who and to where and to when you are directed? Would you please locate your coordinator, Maggie McGuffin Cadet, on May 7th, 2005?
Yes, we have you.
We are gathered here at 8361 11th Line, RR number 2, Thornton, Ontario, to do a general session for the Exploring Universal Mysteries workshop group entitled, What is Time? Would you please begin?
In third dimensional reality, there is a certain concept known as time by which you define yourselves. You measure everything on the basis of time. Even space is measured on the basis of time. For we assure you there would be no measurement of space were there not a concept of time. So it is of benefit here to understand what is time and how it moves beyond third dimensional reality into all of existence. One of the universal mysteries by which you define yourselves, and through which you've attempted to understand and to debunk, so to speak, has been time. But the measurement that you call time, the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days, that which you call a passage of time, whereby the... one moment, please. Of time has brought to you a certain understanding, a certain perspective through which you are, in effect, filtering your experience of existence. Is time really a passage? Is time measurable? Is time that which you've defined for yourselves? We suggested in previous sessions that time did not have the concept of lineality that you've assigned to it. That time exists, true. That it is a filter of third dimensional reality, true. But that the perspective of lineality that you've defined yourselves by is simply a filter that you've applied to the concept of time. Time, in fact, could be said does not exist other than it can be observed that movement can be defined as time. Time is a movement. It is a movement of a particular nature, a particular form, that you yourselves have chosen to categorize, judge, define as time. When the sun rotates around the earth, or the earth rotates around the sun, however you choose to view it, you've defined this as a measurement of time. You've used these measurements in order to standardize your existence, in order to maintain a perspective that was common to all individuals, so that there could be then the creation of a society's perspective. But it isn't the sun and the moon and the earth and the rotation of the planets around the sun and the sky and etc., etc. That isn't what creates time. It isn't any movement that you can see through your five physical senses that is the actual perspective of time. Had you called the movement Water, for example, you would have defined that everything that created movement was water. Instead, you defined it as time. So from your perspective, time is simply a definition of a movement that you've defined. But to understand the true nature of time is to go beyond the limited perspectives that you have, that you hold dear to yourselves, and to gain the awareness that you're seeking that will lead you to an understanding of how consciousness expands, how you yourselves can expand your consciousness, and the benefits of the movement of consciousness. Then is to understand the concept of time. When God as the all that is, chose to extend itself, and it did not create time. God as the all that is simply created perspective. Each perspective then, in its own way, began to flow, to evolve. And in the evolution of perspective, movement began. As movement began, movement created an additional perspective that itself evolved. And in this evolution of perspective, then came new definitions of movement, new judgments. And each of those judgments of the movement altered, shifted, created a new perspective that eventually formed the conceptualization of reality. And in forming this conceptualization of reality, there came about within this conceptualization a new movement. A movement that would allow all consciousness, that it would exist on these conceptualizations of reality, to realize the continuity of existence, to realize the fourth dimension, the fourth defining statement. And in so realizing, could then maintain within themselves the awareness of what they were, in order to return eventually to that movement, to that perception, to that oneness.